Coaches, it's that time of year. Football's coming, middle of July. I get really excited this time of year because I can really focus more on football, right? I thought it'd be wise to make some videos and really pass down some of the knowledge that I've gained doing this for 4 years. And I really want to, it's one of our goals to have an integrated program and, padded flag, rookie tackle, or middle school program, all kind of working together. Once we got pads on, that we're kind of unified. So I thought it'd be good to start getting some videos out so you guys have time to marinate on this stuff. I'll be making some videos, probably 10 minutes or so, on different parts of offense and defense. But I wanted to start with a top 10 tips that I want to share with you from what I've learned doing this for 4 years. First video, we'll go over the first 5. But hey, again, I want to pass down, right? I'm a rookie tackle, so you padded flag coaches, let's get us all on the same page. I've learned a lot of lessons, a lot of things the hard way coaching this thing, and I just want to share it with you guys. Yeah, I've seen a lot of games. Coached 2 years of padded flag, 1 year rookie tackle now. I've watched last year's padded flag teams. Also, we have our huddle. We have an app that we watch our videos of our games. I've seen a lot of games on a video. I've seen a lot of stuff. So that's just from what we've done, what's worked and not worked, but other programs, Rocky River, Avon, Amherst, you name it. So I'm always thinking about this stuff 12 months a year. I love the football part. Let's pass it on, all right? And you do with it what you will. So number 1 is understand our middle school offense. All right, it's gonna happen quick, guys. You guys in 3rd grade, blink of an eye, your kid will be in 6th grade, will be in middle school football. I can't believe my son Asher is going to be in 6th grade. Next summer, he's going to be doing middle school football stuff. So I want him and all his friends ready. I want them to understand the concepts. They can easily step into it. So, and we also want to filter some of those concepts down to us that make sense for 7-on-7 at our different levels. So we run a spread offense, high school and middle school. Our base plays on offense, running wise, are inside zone, outside zone, zone reads, a lot of zone concepts and jet, those kinds of things. And they run a lot of vertical passing game and kind of bubble routes. So they can throw the ball deep. So that's good to know. Number 2, in line with that is using zone running concepts. Not just because it integrates into what they're doing, is it just really helps. I mean, a lot of times we are outmanned by our opponents. We're playing bigger, angrier, stronger teams. In my 2nd year when we played Avon, at the 2nd game, I figured it out. Their defensive tackles were in our backfield the whole game, and it wasn't fun. We couldn't do our normal stuff, right? So I learned, hey, let's read the defensive lineman, have our tailback read him, and have our offensive lineman just take him wherever he wants to go. If he goes inside, drive him inside. If he goes out, ride him out. If he bull rushes, you meet him, try to create a standstill, right? Don't give ground. So that helped a lot. It worked really well. My last 3 or 4 games of padded flag, we used those concepts and taught them. They got better each week. And I used those same concepts with the offense last year. And our offense rocked and rolled last year, guys. We were really great. Our 2 basic concepts, we call zone dive and our jet. Block the exact same way. My zone dive play averaged 7.7 yards per carry. My jet play averaged 8.2 yards per carry. It's my 2 base plays, just ran over and over again. And I am a total nerd, right? I'm all in, right? So I broke down every single one of my plays last year and have averages and all that stuff. So try to be kind of scientific about it, which what I want to pass on to you guys. This stuff worked, and it was simple. It just lets your kids play football. So there are zone concepts. We want to have a couple things. We want to identify action key. Action key is a defensive lineman that our running back is reading, and we want to get double teams if we can get them. All right. So and the other bonus is I want to get the ball across the line of scrimmage as quickly as possible because usually we're outmanned and it's hard to sustain blocks. I mean, a half a second could be a difference. So the quicker I can get the ball across the line of scrimmage, the less time our linemen have to sustain blocks, the better off we are. If you're not quite as good, it's hard to sustain the block, right? So why put our kids through that? So we'll go over this real quick. Our 2 base plays that I run. First one's called zone dive. Our basic formation, red is to the right, blue is to the left. The red is our strength, so we're tight end, which I call a Y. Right, and our X are to the right, and we have a tailback, a T. All right, really kind of a fullback, kind of depending on how deep you put him. So he's more of a fullback, but I want to have a tailback attitude. He's about 4 yards deep. And what we do is we're going to run that's zone dive. That's called zone. You know, one syllable, one word. We would call this a zone right. All right, and it's not going to a certain hole. It's going to an area. So this guy, the defensive lineman, I always put triangle around him. He's our action key. All right, we're running right to him. Our path is in the midline of the guard. He's taking 1, 2 steps, and the second step he should have the ball. Or he's just running that path. Quarterback is opening up about 45 degrees on his second step. They mesh. He's pointing the ball. We want the linebackers and them flowing. We actually want them to flow to the ball so we can learn to read it and take advantage of it. And then he does a little boot. Right? If you do this well, when you do run the boot, you'll just see these guys flowing. It's pretty awesome on tape. So these guys, let's go over the main stuff here. Zone right, he takes a punch step to the right, and second step he should be engaging. Okay? He's going to climb. He's 4 yards. He's got him one-on-one, or he's got the man over him. Okay? Our center is going to step inside hard, and if he slants in, we get a double team. If he disappears, he doesn't step into the A-gap. Center's got the A-gap. If he disappears, he climbs to the A-gap. Probably the mic flowing, right? Sometimes he flows over top. Sometimes he plugs, and we gotta get, this is really the key block here. You gotta get a kid athletic enough to read that. He's kind of reading him too. All right, and our defensive lineman takes him wherever he wants to go. If he goes inside, he rides him. He goes outside, he rides him. He gets a bull rush. He's got to stand his ground. He can't give ground. And all we do is on his fourth step, he makes a decision, our tailback. If he goes inside, right, so as soon as the ball snaps, his eyeballs go to the action key. Sometimes you'll get a hard right step and the kid goes inside. Then you do what's called blast it, the 3 Bs. You just blast it to the end zone. All right, my thinking is let's get past this guy by reading him and get to the second level quickly. We're going to get 4 yards every time if we can do that. We got a good kid who'll break a tackle, make a cut, and go into the house. I think I had 13 touchdowns on this one play. Simple play, because we read it. Okay? If he goes outside, then we bend it back. He goes outside, he disappears, he goes to the mic, and he bends it back in this A-gap. Sometimes, like I said, I want the quarterback to show the ball because sometimes we'll get that flow and he just disappears and he goes. If he's still there, sometimes we'll make a cut. We had about 4 touchdowns like that because this guy flew or he made a cut and we end up getting a touchdown way back here. Okay? The other thing that can happen is like a bull rush, right? He might blow our kid up, he's in the backfield where it's a stalemate. If he sees that read, he bounces it outside. He does a little jump cut. Okay? Boom. Sometimes we had 4 or 5 touchdowns way over here we actually end up in the C D gap. All right, so you're going to let your kid, an athlete, you got kids that can have vision, and you do drills every day, learn how to read that action key, learn how to read that double team for the center. So that's zone dive. It's the same concept they're going to learn from the inside zone and outside zone in the shotgun later on. I also like under center for a couple reasons. I forgot to add this. We don't have a lot of time to practice a couple days a week, and I feel like a shotgun snap is just, unless you got somebody who's really good at it, if you get a shotgun snap that's a little sloppy, you're going to sustain the blocks longer. He's got to catch it up here, get it to the running back. To me, it's just really messy, and to me, it just hits quicker under center, which just fares better for us. So the same play, this is our green or gold formation. So green, tight end right, it's the same thing as red except the tailback now outlines as a slot back on the weak side. Gold would be the same thing the other way. So jet's the same thing. Action key's the same guy. It's basically a horizontal dive. He's blocking him, A-gap, double team, or climb. He's taking about 2 steps, short late motion, versus out, fakes the keeper. Or to me, it's a horizontal dive. But he's reading that action key as he's in motion and getting the handoff. In the jet, you really just have two options. If it's kind of an automatic bounce or trying to get outside, you don't have that vertical blast. So he's going to go outside every time unless he gets kind of bull rushed or he goes way outside. Sometimes you'll see that. Then he'll bend it back in. And we're learning the same concepts. All right? Then a lot of times what happens is he overflows and we get a nice little cut back there. Or sometimes he stays home. If we can, hopefully he picks him up. We get a block and we can make something happen, or we get 4 yards out of it when you bend it back. All right, so those are the zone concepts. The other thing, real quick to go over, is I've used last year a strong guard and a weak guard. We just have not had a lot of offensive lineman type kids in the program. So if you have one offensive lineman that's clearly a cut above, why not put them to the strong side every time? So I have a strong and a weak guard, and they flip. So if we ran red, he'd be to the right, if that's our strength, the red, tight end X is right. Opposite's blue. So in blue, the strong guard would go left and the weak guard would go right. All right, so you gotta have your best blockers at guard because they're covered, okay? Tip 4 is your centers and tight ends. They can kind of work together. So my kids, they do both, all right? They're gonna play both positions. They basically have the same blocks. All right, they're going to climb or double team. Right? Those only 2 blocks they're going to really learn. They both have to be athletic. Right? You got to be athletic to climb and break down your feet. Right? He's moving, so you got to kind of mirror him. Right? Sometimes you got to read where he's going to go. So these have to be athletes. Again, he's not going to be covered by linemen, so you can get a smaller, more athletic kid in there. Also, just a kid who can make a snap too. And then your kids who are centers, right? Then they're going to play tight end a little bit and catch some passes, which is fun. Tip number 5 is when you're calling plays in a game, the first play is either zone dive or jet, one or the other. And then I am looking for the best defensive tackle. If there's a kid 95 that's big and aggressive and he's just charging, bull rushing, if we're having a hard time blocking him, this is simple, guys. Backyard football. I'm gonna run the same play again, but run it left. I'm gonna run away from this kid, not all the time, but most of the time. Once I figure that kid out, if there's some games we'll run blue, run jet left and zone left, most of the time. All right, and then I get a good coach. They'll figure it out. Maybe the second half they start flipping kids based on their strength. So then you just have some plays for the weak side that you exploit. So. Most coaches aren't good enough to, what I've seen, to figure that kind of stuff out. So you never know. All right, so those are my top 5 for now. Middle school offense, know what they're doing. Make sure it's integrated. You want to prepare your son to be in it, right? Not really just about your offense. It's preparing them for success. Use zone concepts with action keys, double teams. Cross the line of scrimmage as quickly on dive and jet as you can. Use strong and weak guards unless you have kids who are kind of even, and that's a different story. Centers and tight ends are interchangeable. Identify their best defensive tackle early on, within the first 3 plays of the game. Hopefully that helps you guys this year.